What's going on, guys? BASSFZz here. Now, to be completely honest, Connor is a bit of a hit and a miss with me. On one hand, he makes some really good videos sometimes, and I completely agree with. And then, like, the next week, he'll make some complete and utter feminist bullshit that just blows my mind, and I don't understand what the fuck he's talking about. I don't know, it's like, I mean, the thing is, you know, and I've said several times, you know, there are some people I respond to who are actually really smart people, and their heart is in the right place, and Connor is that person. Like, he's not stupid, he's just, I guess, whipped. Maybe whipped might be the best word to use. He's stuck drinking the feminist Kool-Aid, because sometimes he says some real stupid shit. Usually it revolves around feminism. So, that's where this video response comes from. I don't outright hate Connor, and he's a really smart guy, he really is. It's just, sometimes he comes out with the bullshit. Actually, 50% of the time he comes out with the bullshit. Let's do this.
There seems to be a lot of gray area with the issue of being an ally.
You don't fucking say.
Yeah. Hi, extremely privileged white male here, and I'm here to teach you how to be a better ally. Tip number 1. Remember that it's not about you.
In other words, do the complete opposite of what every other feminist has done. Instead of talking and complaining about your mundane problems that could be solved without a social movement, you need to talk and complain about everyone else's mundane problems that can be solved without a social movement.
I think it's always way easier to default to thinking or talking about yourself. I feel like that's a ubiquitous human thing.
Actually, not really. I've met lots of people who are actually a little uncomfortable with talking about themselves. Just saying. I mean, you know, I think, you know, you got all different types of people in all different walks of life, but even then, I don't really understand how people without very many problems can complain about the problems they don't have. I'm just saying, it's just kind of odd to me that a bunch of white men would complain about their problems. What if they actually have legitimate problems, though? I mean, can they complain then? Probably not, because you're supposed to be an ally. You're supposed to echo feminist bullshit. So no, you can't complain about your legitimate problems, apparently. I guess. I don't really know what it means to be an ally, and Connor's here to teach us that.
However, when it comes to issues of inequality, and you're part of a privileged group, think about why that's kind of messed up.
I don't know, it sounds, how do I put this, pretty counterproductive to discount half of the entire fucking population because they have pale skin and a penis. I mean, look, historically speaking, white people have done some pretty fucked up shit. But we can't get upset at normal white people for the shit that other white people have done, the same way white people can't get upset at the shit that niggas have done that other black people who have never done. You know? I mean, racism's racism, guy. It doesn't really matter who it is. And it's complete and utter bullshit to punish all white people for what their ancestors did. If you want to punish white people, punish the white people who are currently doing stupid shit, not the white people who aren't.
Tip number 2, while it is okay for people to say positive things about you being an ally for someone else, you shouldn't get bonus points for being a decent human being.
You know, that's one thing that kind of blows my mind just a little bit. You mean to tell me that someone can be a nice person and they don't get shit out of it, and then you tell them, hey, you're not supposed to get shit out of being a normal person. If anything, you're discouraging people from being normal, decent people. You should encourage them. You should be saying, hey, fantastic job, you're being a nice person. Keep it up. You shouldn't tell them that you're just supposed to do it. If you're just supposed to do it, then it's not special. If it's not special, no one's going to be inclined to do it. I mean, that's just human psychology, really. I mean, granted, if you live in a perfect world, yeah, you can just be like, hey, just be a normal, mundane person, just talk to people, but that's not the world we live in right now. So I say, if someone's being nice and kind-hearted, fucking encourage them. Don't bitch at them for being a decent person, you know? Don't steal away the compliment that, hey, you're being a nice person. Like, encourage that behavior so they continue to be nice people. That's how you raise a child up.
It's a pretty common thing when someone of a privileged group does something rad for someone of an oppressed group, which is a rad and dope thing, awesome, totally encourage it, but then that person of the privileged group gets raised up like he's some kind of hero, and that's just not always cool.
My friend, chivalry is something that should be raised up. Again, you know, honestly, in America, we don't really have very many oppressed groups. Like, not anymore. I mean, okay, maybe if you were having this conversation, you know, like, I'd say 30 years ago during the civil rights, no, like more like 50 years ago, huh? yeah, during the civil rights era, 50, 60 years ago, I think, yeah, that would make sense. But not, like, no one is really oppressed in America. No, everybody except the 1% is oppressed in America. But that's conspiracy theory territory, and let's stay away from there. Let's just stick to this allyship thing.
I don't get extra points for going through my life not murdering people, so in the same way, I shouldn't get extra points for treating women like they're people.
Oh my fucking goodness. How many times fucking times are we going to have to go over this? Where do people come from? Holy fucking shit, they come from a uterus that is attached to a fucking woman. That whole women are people thing kind of goes without saying.
Right? That's just a basic decency thing. Tip number 3, and what is possibly the most important step, listen, because that's your role here.
If I may ask, if your entire position in being an ally is to just listen to whatever women say and not question them based on what they say, then what exactly is the point of being an ally if you can just listen? You can't do anything about that. I mean, what do you want them to do? You just listen? That's it? I mean, I can listen to women talk all day and every day, but if I'm not doing anything about it, what John Brown difference does it make? If anything, I just put myself in the friend zone. So, we're not getting anywhere with that. I mean, I'm just saying.
When discussing issues of inequality, when discussing issues of injustice, as someone who is privileged, you don't really get to have a say in directing the conversation and where it goes.
Have you ever had a conversation before? You do understand that a conversation is not guided by one person. It's guided by both people talking to each other. At least it's guided by two people who are interested in talking to each other. I mean, if it's only a one-sided conversation with one person continuously asking question after question to somebody that doesn't really want to talk to them, well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, no one really likes talking to people like that. I guess women do, apparently, since... I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. I guess feminists do apparently enjoy talking to people like that, because that means they get to tell them their experiences continuously, and the ally never gets to talk to them at all, and you're not really actually having much of any kind of conversation. Those conversations suck, man. I hate conversations like that.
A very big part about learning what privilege is opening your mind up to different possibilities. It's listening to the differences between your experience and somebody else's experience. It's listening. I'm not saying that a man has no right to participate in a conversation about gender inequality.
No, he's just saying you're not supposed to talk during a conversation about inequality.
Of course, a man has a right to participate in that conversation. I am saying that as a member of the privileged group, the man doesn't really get to dictate where the conversation goes.
No, that's called having a normal conversation. No one really has, like, an authoritative control over a natural flowing conversation flows in and out of topics, and sometimes you can go back to other topics, or sometimes you can stay focused on, on the track, on the path to whatever the fuck you guys were originally talking about. But the way a conversation goes and forms is it's all over the place, you don't normally have like a conversation that is just completely linear, usually that's like a discussion. You guys are trying to obtain something. But if you're talking about like a normal conversation, well, stuff, you say something, you laugh, you joke, you play around, or sometimes it can be a serious conversation, but again, a natural conversation is like an organism, it grows, it goes all over the fucking place. It's not something that's just completely static. And again, I don't derive any pleasure from being the only person talking in a conversation with somebody. I like listening and asking questions and then giving them my opinion, see what they feel about that, them telling me how they feel and talking like that. I mean, I don't know, that's just me personally. But I think overall, I don't know very many people who would enjoy a one-sided conversation like that. I mean, maybe there are some, but it doesn't sound very natural to me.
Kind of defeats the whole purpose of listening. What is being an ally for someone? It's being their teammate. It's being their backup. It's letting them lead the charge and following them every step of the way, being their teammate and raising them up when they need it.
Wow, that sounds so fucking alluring, doesn't it? Actually, no, sarcasm aside, that sounds completely freaking terrible. If you guys are teammates with each other, you guys have to work together. You don't elevate one person above the other, This isn't fucking boxing, okay? Like in lacrosse. Like lacrosse and basketball, I think are pretty good to compare, okay? In basketball, you can have like one player who just kind of D's up everybody and everyone passes the ball to him, right? You can have LeBron James, Michael Jordan, you can do that. Lacrosse is not that sport. Lacrosse is a sport where you have to work together as a team. You have to. Like, you cannot just blitz past everybody in lacrosse. You can try, but you will not be successful, I'll tell you that. Like, you have to work together as a team in lacrosse. And I think lacrosse kind of reflects the world a lot better. You can't just blow past everybody and expect to get the results you want. You gotta work together with people, you know? You gotta communicate. You gotta pass the ball around. And if you really want a good social movement, you shouldn't try to elevate one person and just follow them, because guess what? They could be completely fucking wrong and you would never know, because remember, your job is just to listen, which is completely stupid. Your job should be to challenge these people and to talk to them and evaluate new ideas and find solutions to problems, my friend. Finding solutions. That's what men do. So, I don't know. I'd hate being an ally. That sounds stupid as shit.
That's what being an ally is. Because when it comes to issues involving LGBT rights, racism, sexism, this is all of our fight.
So then what logical sense does it make to completely tell half of the population that they cannot participate in these conversations? Alright, it's alright. You said that they can, it's just that they can't dictate the conversation, which is, again, foolish, but I already covered that.
Because we're all living on this planet, and we all stand to benefit from a world where everybody has an equal chance. All of us do. And this is where I would like to bring in the He for She campaign, started by Emma Watson after her incredible speech at the UN, incredibly heartfelt, brought me to tears personally.
Let's just keep going.
In which she invited people, she invited men to participate in the discussion and to be an ally and to help out where they can see fit. I like to
yeah, she invited men to go do something that they were already fucking doing. Connor, you were making these feminist type videos before Emma Watson did that. I mean, if anybody should have been offended by that fucking invitation, it should have been you. You were already doing it, like, whatever.
I think that I've lent my voice here and there about this kind of stuff, and I would like to continue doing this, but
yeah, exactly. You were already doing that, so why did you need an invitation to continue to do something you were already doing? It's like someone saying, hey, Zeus, you can go ahead and sit down in that chair you're sitting in.
Here's a specific thing that we can do, that we can pledge, that we can share, we can talk about it. Raising women up does not bring men down. A strong woman does not threaten your manhood.
We're already equal. We're just different.
All it does is it gives us all an equal chance. It makes us all stronger. I am absolutely, unapologetically, 100% a feminist. And that label, that word, carries a lot of baggage with it. And it's caused me a fair bit of backlash when I've talked about it in the past.
Yeah, and I would challenge you to stop and ask yourself why. And honestly ask yourself why. And really think about it. Why would somebody say that a movement, a social movement, to change the world for the better is something negative? Now, of course, the immediate thought process or reply would be that they're just horrible people and they don't like equality. But I think a more open and honest answer to that question would be maybe, now just maybe, we're not as open or free-thinking as we might portray ourselves to be. Just a thought, you know, for all you feminists out there. Maybe you guys should really stop and really think about why it's so negative instead of bitching and complaining about the fact that it's negative. You might come to a pretty eye-opening conclusion.
All that does for me is motivate me. It proves why we need to talk about it, why we need to keep having these conversations, and why it is an incredibly important thing. So yeah, if you're interested in He for She, there's information down in the description. I think it's incredibly important because I think we need a lot more effective allies.
I mean, honestly, Connor, that makes no sense. An effective ally is an ally that just listens. They don't add anything to the conversation, but whatever. That's pretty much where his video ends, and that's pretty much where this video ends, really. So, that being said, I certainly hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you did, man, go ahead and click the like button. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. Comment in the comment box below, and as always, have a great day. I'll see you cool cats soon. Adios.